Joel Topf for Nephrology Times. I'm at the National Kidney Foundation Spring Clinical Meeting. And one of the things you know you're at the Spring Clinical Meeting is if you trip over a renal dietitian. They are everywhere. But I don't just have a renal dietitian, I have the kidney dietitian.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So this is Melanie Betz. She runs a website. She does a lot of work. She's a very high profile kidney dietitian. Hey, thanks for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
I'll tell you, I take care of a lot of CKD patients, and every clinical visit ends the same way. They're like, Doc, what should I be eating? There's so much inherent desire to know that.
Yes.
How do you answer that question?
That's so hard to answer because it's going to be so different for every single person.
Take 5 or 10 seconds.
I would say focus on mostly plants, low sodium, limit animal protein. I don't know. I think it's so hard to answer that question because it's going to be so different for each person. Like obviously as doctors and nephrologists and dietitians, we understand the differences based on labs, but I think the piece that is often critically missing is the difference based on patient preferences, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like that's the beauty, one of many benefits of working with a dietitian is you will work with the patient to adjust what they're eating right now, right? Dietitians don't just say, eat this, right? It's like kind of taking what patients like, their cultural food preferences and adjusting them to make them a bit more friendly for their kidneys.
But I think also that we have gone down the trap of saying, oh, their potassium is high, let's...
You touched.
I touched a nerve, and intentionally so, right? Because I think it's one of these classic situations. And before we jump to the meat of this, which is so interesting, is that what we've seen over the last few years, is study after study coming out, is that making adjustments and putting people on low potassium diets doesn't fix their potassium. Yet it's still the standard first stage of therapy is always to put them on a low potassium diet, despite it doesn't work.
And I would argue there's a lot of harm in putting someone on a strict low potassium diet.
Thank you. No, that's right. So the classic one is they say, oh, look at these fruits and vegetables are high in potassium. I'm going to stop those because they're a big potassium source, but they're also this huge fiber source. They help the bowels keep moving. Alkali. So that's right. There's a lot of reasons why they're actually beneficial in this circumstance. And so all I say is that the renal dietitians, they have a lot to answer for.
Yes,
right?
Yes, absolutely. And I think that's another thing is, if I imagine there might be a lot of nephrologists listening to this, and I think there's such
millions of nephrologists listening to this. That's right.
And I think what is really important, and one message that I would love to get across to nephrologists is the way that you frame to your patients working with a dietitian. It's not like, oh, go talk to the dietitian about eating less salt. That's not fun, right? Instead, it's like, go talk to a dietitian about what you can do to help protect your kidneys. Go talk to a dietitian about what you can do to slow the progression of kidney disease and keep you off dialysis. That is fun. That's going to make someone want to talk to a dietitian, right? And that's not a lie. That's what we can do.
That's great. No. It's the framing of the interaction. Don't set it up to be this negative interaction. Set it up to be, hey, this is what we're doing in this clinic, so we're keeping you off of dialysis. And part of that is going to be adjusting what you eat.
Yes. And also helping them realize, like, dietitian, we're not the food police. Like, if you want to eat potato chips, you can eat potato chips, right? Like, I think so often patients are afraid to go see a dietitian because they think they're never going to be able to eat their favorite foods. And I would say the exact opposite is true. Like, most dietitians are dietitians because we love food. And we want other people to be able to eat and enjoy food. And so we are going to work with that patient to help them to be able to enjoy their favorite foods, potato chips or hamburgers or whatever it happens to be.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Okay, so I know we've been talking about CKD, but it seems like where you really like to work is with kidney stones.
Yes, it is.
And so how does that meeting start? Like what is your framework for dealing with a new patient who's got has recurrent kidney stones, has been referred to you? What does that interaction look like?
I would say similarly in terms of, looking at what they want to eat, but most importantly, looking at their urine risk factors. I think I feel like in many ways, stone nutrition is decades past even where CKD nutrition is, in terms of there's no one size fits all diet for kidney stones.
Yeah.
And we need to be looking at that 24-hour urine test to have any idea what we can do from either a medical or nutrition standpoint to prevent those stones.
Yeah.
I find myself, similar to potassium, but perhaps even worse, steering people away from focusing on oxalate because that is such a the standard, general advice given to anyone. Yet there's really no data that shows a low oxalate diet prevents stones, and there's so many other things.
Can we just say that one more time for
Sure.
the people in the back of the room?
There's not a shred of evidence out there that shows that a low oxalate diet prevents stones.
Oh my God, you're rocking my world. I had no idea. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, let's just extrapolate it from the other unique thing. What about data on increased water intake reducing stones?
Sure.
How about reduced sodium intake
Absolutely.
reducing stones?
More fruits and vegetables, which will come with more oxalate.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Mind blown.
Yeah, no. I'm crawling off the floor here. Okay.
It's very similar to the potassium
Let's switch
story.
gears then. Let's switch gears then.
Sure.
What other major nutritional myths are you here to dispel?
Oh gosh.
No,
Oxalate and potassium. Those are
great
things.
ones. Those are the things.
Yeah.
Those are the things.
Yeah, I think those are my two sticking points that I give to group of people after group of people.
I
Yeah.
love that.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, what's your final message for the people?
I would say that all kidney patients, whether it's CKD or stones, need to have a dietitian or need to be offered the opportunity to see a dietitian.
And I will tell you that my experience is they all want to.
So often, right?
They have the sense that this is an important part of my health.
Yes.
And that they go to the doctor and the doctor doesn't address it.
Mhm.
And the doctor doesn't know how to address it.
Yeah.
And
You don't have time to, right?
Well,
Like you're busy, right? And this is what we do, so let us do it. So yeah, so all patients really need the chance to see a dietitian. I think there's this perception that patients don't want to see a dietitian, and I think that is very wrong, which sounds like that's kind of been your experience as well.
Yeah.
And I think especially when you frame it as such, like not, oh, this dietitian is going to help you eat less salt. That's not fun, right? Just kind of framing it as this dietitian can help you enjoy your favorite foods, prevent stones, or prevent the progression of chronic kidney disease. I think another important point is that dietitians for CKD, not stones, unfortunately, but for CKD are covered by Medicare, which is something a lot of people don't realize. So this is a underutilized benefit that we need to be using more to help our patients.
Right. And how can people find the renal dietitian?
Yeah, so the National Kidney Foundation has a really great resource.
I'm sorry, and I gave you the name wrong. It's the kidney dietitian, right?
You said it right.
Okay.
Yeah,
Kidney dietitian.
you said it
I'm
right.
sorry. Yeah.
So the National Kidney Foundation has a great resource of find a CKD dietitian on their website. So that's a really great way to go about it. Because you really do want to try to find someone who specializes in kidney disease.
Yeah, for sure.
Not all dietitians know about kidneys, so that's a really great resource. You can also look for a dietitian with a credential CSR, Certified Specialist in Renal Nutrition. So that means we've, had some extra education, passed some extra exams to get that.
And have an interest in it.
Yes.
And have an interest in it.
Exactly.
And what if they wanted to find Melanie Betz?
You can find me at thekidneydietitian.org. That's my blog, and I'm also pretty active on social media. I'm on Instagram at thekidneydietitian.
That's awesome. Hey, thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Have a good meeting.
Yes, you too.
Bye.